Hello, students. Your topic for today is doctrines. So, today we are going to discuss various doctrines that are there in the Constitution and that are related to the Constitution of India. So, the first doctrine is doctrine of territorial nexus. So, clause 1 of Article 245 says that, subject to the provisions of this Constitution, Parliament may make laws for the whole or any part of the territory of India, and the legislature of a state may make laws for the whole or any part of the state. So, this means that Parliament can make laws for the territory of India, and legislature of a state can make laws for the state for whole or any part in both of the cases. So this is under clause 1 of article 245. Then clause 2 says that no law that is made by the parliament shall be deemed to invalid on the ground that it would have an extraterritorial operation. So, according to Article 245, Clause 2, laws cannot be declared invalid on this ground that they are extraterritorial. This doctrine is applied when it is to be examined that particular legislation is within the territorial nexus or not. So, this is the doctrine of territorial nexus. In the case of Tata Iron Steel versus State of Bihar, Supreme Court applied this doctrine of territorial nexus. Then is the doctrine of harmonious construction. So it states that a provision of the statute should not be interpreted or construed in isolation, but as a whole, so as to remove any inconsistency or repugnancy. So this brings harmony between the various lists referred to in Indian Constitution scheduled in CIT versus Hindustan Bulk Carriers. The Supreme Court stated five important principles, and they are: the courts must avoid a clash on contradicting provisions, and they must construe the opposite provisions so as to harmonize them. The provision of two sections, respectively, cannot defeat each other unless the court, despite all its efforts, is unable to find a way to reconcile their differences. So, when it is difficult to totally reconcile the distinctions in the conflicting provisions, the court must decipher them in such a way so that effect is given to both the provisions as much as possible. The court must also keep in mind the interpretation that makes the provision ambiguous or useless is not harmonious construction. To harmonize is not to destroy any statutory provision or make it pointless. Now, the doctrine of pit and substance. So, it arises when there is a conflict between two or different subject matters of different list. So, there can be circumstances where the subject matter of the list clashes with the subject matter of the list 2. So, list 1 and list 2 subject matter are clashing with each other, and hence this doctrine is applied in this kind of a situation. So, the main reason behind the adoption of this doctrine of pit and substance is that the powers of the legislature would be severely limited if every law were to be declared invalid on the ground that it infringes power. According to this doctrine, it is examined to check its true nature and character in order to ascertain in what list it falls. It provides a degree of flexibility. It is widely used in determining whether the state is within its power to make statute which involves a subject mentioned in the union list of the constitution. So it is applied in case State of Bombay versus FN Balasar by the Supreme Court. This was the first important judgment which upheld the pit and substance. Now, the doctrine of repugnancy. So, the term repugnancy means inconsistency between state made law and union made law. Article 254 establishes the doctrine of repugnancy, which act as a safeguard to solve disputes that are arising between the states and the unions. So, the doctrine of repugnancy deals with the distribution of powers between the central and the state legislatures. This doctrine reflects the quasi federal structure of the Constitution. It has clearly laid down the powers of the parliament and the state legislature to avoid inconsistencies and conflicts. M. Karunanidhi versus UOI is one of the most authoritative judgments on doctrine of repugnancy. Supreme Court summarized test and principles of repugnancy. That's all. Thank you.